Prince of Songkla University, represented by Assistant Professor Dr. Takung Wangsi-Chot, the Vice President for International Affairs at PSU. So let's hear from Dr. Takung now. Thank you.
Honorable guest speakers, esteemed administrators and participants, ladies and gentlemen, warm greetings from Prince of Songkla University and from Hat Yai. It is my great pleasure to deliver a speech for this special online event, the Friends Thailand National Conference on Internationalization at Home, which is hosted by Sarakam University and co-hosted by Phayap University and Prince of Songkla University. Prince of Songkla University made the internationalization at home, or IaH, a priority by setting up a policy to cover all international aspects, including research, teaching, and the daily life of our students. IaH is high on our university's agenda, and therefore there is a strong commitment towards internationalization at home by both the administrators and all departments. In addition, our participation in the Erasmus Plus Friends project has greatly contributed to fostering the IaH activities at PSU. Generally, the internationalization was viewed as traveling and leaving the country. But with many restrictions during the pandemic, the face-to-face activities were put on hold until quite recently. And some activities have even been partially replaced by virtual activities. Moreover, since most students and staff at PSU could not travel to gain international experience anyway, we incorporated the internationalization and the internationalization at home into PSU's strategy to answer to this problem. Therefore, we invited experts from other countries to teach online at our university, and as a result, several online seminars conducted by foreign invited researchers and academics have been offered. In fact, over 100 international professors joined this online program last year. As I mentioned, our university's internationalization strategy needed to be slightly changed in the light of disruption created by COVID-19, and the ways of learning, working, and living had to be adapted in order to survive. I think that each university and each nation had its own approach in dealing with the effects of COVID-19. And today is an excellent chance for us to hear from experts on internationalization and IaH during these challenging times. In closing, on behalf of Prince of Songkla University, I would like to thank all honorable speakers for accepting to share with us their knowledge and expertise. My thanks also go to the host of this special event, Sarakam University, and to the co-host Phayap University, as well as to all attendees. I hope you greatly enjoy and gain useful knowledge from today's online conference. Thank you.
Great speech by Dr. Takung from Prince of Songkla University. Thank you very much. And next, let's proceed to the other host university, Phayap University, represented by the Senior Advisor for International Affairs, Mr. Santisuk Chinnapong. Kun Santisuk, เชิญครับ
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Thank
Please
you very
proceed.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, my connection is kind of unstable, so I'm not really sure you're hearing everything. My name is Samuel Santisuk Chinapongs, and I'm the Senior Advisor at International Affairs here at Pab University. I'm taking the place of Dr. Tien Lariman, the Assistant to the President for International Affairs, but she's tied up in meetings and whatnot. So, but I'm happy to address this forum. Pab University is proud to be a part of the Friends Project. We thank you very much, Erasmus, for allowing us to participate. Internationalization has been a core competency of PIE for a long time. In fact, the office that I work in, International Affairs, our entire existence is international engagement. So we're very much in tune with what's happening throughout academia, and we hope to continue to internationalize for the benefit of our students here as well as the community at large. I want to point out that two main participants in our organization that has been managing this program, I just want to mention their names. I think you all know Mike Mellum, the manager of the Center for Social Impact, and also Mr. Waruth Kasal, who's another very busy individual. It was these guys that have got us on a map, and I really appreciate their efforts in making sure that we comply with all the requirements of the Friends Project. And from what I can see, we've really succeeded, and we hope to continue beyond Friends and make sure that internationalization remains in the forefront of what it is that we do here. That's really all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Santisuk, for the welcoming words. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And yeah, wishing you best luck as well. Thank you. Let's hear again from Mahasakam University. Let's see if the connection issues have been solved, because I think everyone in the audience, including myself, are really keen on hearing from Dr. Oravit.
Honorable speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Mahasarakham University, I extremely overwhelmed to get this opportunity to address you all on this auspicious occasion of Friends Thailand National Conference on Internationalization at Home, with the topic of the internationalization at home, a new normal in the international light of higher education. This conference is the project co-funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union, and Friends stand for the Furthering International Relationships Capacities and Intercultural Engagement to nurture campus diversity and to support internationalization at home. Friends is the collaboration of 16 universities in 9 countries in Europe and Asia, namely Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, Turkey, Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, Philippines, and Thailand. Thus, I am confident that to join this conference, you will have the chance to shape up your idea about internationalization at home. I have to thank everyone involved, especially our friends, Thailand partners, Prince of Songkla University and Payap University. Special thanks to all honorable speakers. I'm very delighted to have all participants with us. Thank you very much for taking time of your busy schedule to join Friends Thailand National Conference on Internationalization at Home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Oravit, for this great speech from Mahasakam University. And now that the event is officially open, we are ready to listen to our first 2 experts talk in the morning. After each talk, we will have QA sessions, so please feel free to write your questions in the chat or raise your hand at the end if you would like to ask the speakers directly. Now it is my honor to introduce our first keynote speaker, a globally renowned expert in internationalization. Ms. Pontip Kanchananiyo was the executive director of Fulbright Thailand for 11 years before assuming her current position as a special advisor at Simeo IaH. In this capacity for the last 8 years, she has been assisting in the development of strategic and action plans, while also conducting internationalization training sessions for international affairs administrators and officers in the ASEAN region, including here at PSU. As someone who has had the fortune to enjoy Ms. Pontiff's charming and informative style before, I am certain that we all are going to enjoy her keynote speech titled The New Abnormal, from IZN and IaH to IaHs. Ms. Pontiff, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, George, for the very kind introduction. I'm just a teeny little person who has been involved in internationalization. And also it's always a joy to really be in this circle. I'd like to share my slide. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for this invite. It's unbelievable how virtual meeting could make me so nervous at times as well. But this is gonna be fun because it's something different. At first, I was asked about the new normal. Then I was thinking, looking back, then I look at the world changes all the time, and then let's sail along my slides together and then see what, from my view, are the changes and what is relevant to IZN, IaH, and IaHs. These are the points that I like to talk. And then you see all this Q and O and C and R. You can have the questions, you can say anything from your observation or any comments or reaction. Or the last one will be your own reflection of how years have shaped you and what you see ahead. I'd like to begin by saying this. When I was asked to talk about this topic, basically talking about mobility, and then it links to new normal. If there is a question saying that, is mobility a new normal? No. What about IaH? Is IaH a new normal? For me, I would say it's a yes, apostrophe ED. Yes, ED, that means it has passed. It's not new normal anymore. And that's why I come up with this set of slides from what I see from my perspective. Actually, this is the loop that I invented maybe almost 10 years ago. And my naive self would say, okay, whatever comes as normal, it will turn into new normal, and then you will go back to now normal. You think about the new media, and then now media, and then normal again. And so it's the loop that goes on and on and on without any change. Mobility is like that. Let's see this one. When we started over 2-3 decades ago, especially in this region, we were so excited and nervous about globalization. And then we talked about internationalization. We said, no, we have to see us beyond our home, then go to the region and the world. And then for our homes, for people in ASEAN, our home is here, but we don't really see our neighbors. We see, oh, we love Western Hemisphere. We love going there. And what about us here in the region? And so time goes by and things changes. And eventually, in years that higher education start thinking that, oh, maybe this is time for us to really talk about IZN, because people keep asking what it means. And I have been going around saying that maybe each of us could really think of our context, coming up with our own definition. Don't really care too much about others. You have others as example, but it's not us. You just can't copy. But the first thing is that when change comes here, we start hearing VUCA. Actually, VUCA is around so long since the World War II. And we start saying that, okay, VUCA means change. And then we really have to do everything to try to keep up with the change. And IZN can be one of the things to do it. Good thing that friends come in. Erasmus has been very active. So we're slowly moving from IZN to IaH. Carry on the IZN to IaH. IZN for me is internationalization. Internationalization is far too long. Okay. Now, I got it from Beelan and Jones, which has been the definition that we are using here under the French project. And for me, the highlight will be for formal. And this is 2015, remember. So we are thinking about 4 credits with assessment. I love it because we don't really assess. We just say, okay, all done. So that means it's done. And we also said, okay, let's talk about credit transfer. Let's talk about how students will be getting their credits. They don't really have to spend 1 year without anything. And good thing about informal curriculum, I have become an amateur podcaster. And one of the things that I have asked my guest speakers, they all say that they have got a lot more from informal curriculum. That shocked me because for them, for some of them, formal curriculums don't really say much about what they have learned. So these are the points of concerns and cautious for me. Anyway, what in parentheses that I really like when you talk about the domestic learning environments is the aim to develop international and intercultural knowledge, skills, and attitudes. All the time we have these 3: knowledge, skills, and attitude for all students. I emphasize the word students. Then you follow. Then from IZN, slowly we have the addition of IaH. I say addition, okay? From diversity. When I was at Fulbright, my tenure at Fulbright drove me to say a lot and learn a lot about diversity. I show this picture almost all the time, and I would be asking my participants, students, faculty members, whoever in the circle, saying that, what do you want to be? Some people say, I want to be dressing. Okay, be you, because everyone has their own identity and their preference, what they want to be. Now people are talking about not just individuals, about all of us, how to feel included, how to feel being part of it, and also looking more beyond our own self to the wider society. Then this comes the myths and facts. When we start IaH, people would say, you see, I intentionally put IZN in blue, paler blue, because people tend to forget. And then, okay, stay. But we really want to do IaH. So I love this one that Bilan said. It's not alternative for mobility. And it's not simply preparation for mobility. I also like this one. It's not focused on international students. When we talk about international students to feel at home, we always say that, oh, local people know. But you know, we have organized a lot of activities for international students. And we said, eventually our local students will participate. No, they don't. They said they know it. Little that they know that international students finally could have learned more about our own country, our own communities than they, because they didn't really participate. They take it for granted. It's all around. So the word feel at home also means a lot to me. And when we have the internationalization at home, it means a lot more to me as well. And in some universities, they might start from having electives. It's not incorrect. It's not wrong, but it's not everything. But this, the last one, responsibility of the international office. Everything that starts with languages that are not Thai will go to international office because they speak English, but English is not equal to IZN, IaH, even though we are talking a lot more students, okay? So this has become one of the mindsets, saying that take it or leave it. Say to international office, we have this IaH, take it or leave it. And so when we talk about IZN and IaH, it's not a choice. It's the blended issues that we really have to study carefully and do the balancing within our own context. But we tend to have this and desert the other. And that is not good. Eventually, we have come up with, okay, IZN at home, that is IaH. And so it means learning opportunities that has been extended for more. And I said, finally, it's not just for people who can speak English. It's not just people who excel in their discipline, but it's more than mobility for a minority, or maybe for those who are capable to pay. So IaH has answered a lot to what we had in the past about IZN, mobility, and then the recruitment process. Everything has gradually changed and moved forward to cover the mass who we have to take care of. The most important thing, I draw this statement from Senator Fulbright: see the world as others see it. We don't really know the other side until we go in there in any form and then see from where they stand, not from what we see and what we feel. And after all, exchanges, mobility of any kind would lead us to see our own selves. And these are the key things that happen. See the world, understand the world better. But finally, it's our own self. So I put it here that besides intercultural understanding, is internalization. Take it into us and then see what we have learned, what we haven't learned, what are the myths, and whether the myths are still there, and how to get over it. And it's not just one shot, because we have to do it regularly to really understand us and me and you against the world. Actually, it's us against the different worlds that have been happening. I love this book, and I encourage everyone to really read it if you haven't, because IaH, from the experience I draw from this book by University UK International, and it has a lot of contents, key contents with the key experiences that we can take in our region. The first thing, senior leaders buy in. They're not talking about senior leaders' understanding and awareness and mindset anymore. So this is very clear. And when they talk about strategic partnership, they're talking about partnership within their own community, within their own region, and then globally. And also when they talk about internal coordination, it's not just international officers, it's not just by discipline based, but engagement across the sector. It's within the institution, including the student union. Quite a few universities were talking about student unions. For us in our region, particularly in Thailand, I would feel that we find it a challenge sometimes because messages don't get through in the two-way street. And there might be some of the things that we could do in the future. And also the sectors that they cover will be expanded. It's not just within the university, as we have seen in our own universities here in Thailand. And what they have, they don't leave it alone, they blend it. And building on existing projects and activity, not just one shot, take it or leave it. Oh, it's done, this is project, and then do it the silo way. I think they have tried to really integrate everything, what they learn, and then sort it out what is not needed anymore. And that is really nice to look at it that way. One of the keywords is the flexibility to shift back and forth. Because when we have the digital tools, we tend to say that, oh, blended could be very hard. So maybe physical, maybe this one or that one. But we need to come up with the blended as needed, when needed, and who is decided, who will be deciding that is us in the circle. And they built in the training for those who concerned with mobility, with IaH, to make sure that communication get through. and also the assessment part. The assessment part, there are some issues that we see, and then very, very similar to what we do here in Thailand or even in our region. Looking at the IaH from the West experience, from Florida, then I would give you some example from Kent and others. Now, currently, the most recent paper that I have read is actually a dissertation about IZN, and actually it tries to look at the ASEAN IZN, though with Thailand as a case study, because Thailand seems to be in the middle of countries in ASEAN. The challenges that he found, Jetawat found, was that Thailand's case, everything seems to be seen as an independent issue. What does it mean? You talk about quality assurance, that's a set of issues that you have to deal with. You have to train the people specifically in quality assurance. This one, IZN, you really have to train the people in international offices and then let them handle for the whole universities, or maybe just in their respective departments or faculties. And still, until now, we evaluate by numbers because it's easiest, even numbers. If I say easiest, other people say, no, it's not easy to collect all the data. Yes, but then it's not number oriented, right? And still, it depends on each leader that comes in to manage the faculty, the university, or even at the national level, at the ministry. So for this one, what Jetawat has proposed to really see IZN in Thailand moving into the more desirable direction will be these 3 points. The first one is this: leadership at all levels. Right now it's much better because we understand that senior leaders doesn't mean those who are at the management at the university level or at the ministry level, but each level, or even those of us who are in the international office, each individual must have this leadership to try to understand what is happening. When people talk about diversity, inclusion, right now people only talk about the diversity and inclusion. We don't really talk much about belonging yet. And don't really talk about the culture as the organizational culture yet, because we look at it as a silo independent issue. If we want to talk about culture, we say organizational culture, okay, that's the leader's part. So we have left out what will be significant to us, our mission, our vision, because each of us will be trying to synergize and then drive through to our university mission and vision, and also going beyond that to have more stakeholders into the system. Another thing that Jetawat found very difficult is the global mindset, because particularly in Thailand, maybe in some other countries, they have excelled quite a bit in language proficiency. For us, in some universities still, in some particular faculties still, they only think that, oh, they can't have it because of the English language. Language is not everything, but it's the learning opportunities, and then the outlook that we have, and the exposure for us to be among those who have the global mindset. And it doesn't mean that we have to move out of the country to see that, to be like that. And the second one is that we have a lot of international partnerships, and we have a lot of programs on mobility. What have they gone? Because it's completed. Once it's done, the project is completed, done. Is it so? We really have to think back and then see what actually we want from that. And the keyword, another essential keyword is this: we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. And how could we become future ready? I love the word future ready because it means everything to all of us as well, particularly now. from Thailand's experience, when we move from IZN to IaH, some have dropped the IZN, some have focused on IaH alone or a little bit of the blend, or some even don't really get it what IZN is. So we have the different levels. But for the policy level at the national level, we could always say, oh, we commit, we continue, and then we will have the funding support that will be stated in national higher education plans, or if not, it is included in some of the plans, strategic plans. So it is the part of us, but it doesn't say right out that they support IZN and IaH as clearly as the community wants to see it. For the university, they have to complain, oh, the national level didn't really do much. They say it on paper. What about the real thing? We have to do it on our own. See, we have our own vision, and then we have the strategic and action plans. Then some people say, oh, we have to go for ranking. While some others say ranking, not everything. And I would say some people even say ranking is crazy. So it depends on you how you look at it and how you use it. I have one professor who taught on quality management, and he said it is good. Ranking is good, and you can just look at it and can use it at some of the things that you want to select and put it into your own work, but it's not everything, okay? And another thing is this, university said they have do a lot, but it turns out to be that they do it bits and pieces, and not quite blending everything. So between the policy and the university, one thing happens, the wide gap. And there was once a session about internationalization, the IZN, by Kun Jetawat and also several faculty members and deans of Thammasat University. And they were discussing the role of universities. Some of the things stuck my heart because they were saying that it seems like universities were very much on their own. So what we are lacking is this: we don't have the alignment and integration at the ministry and university levels. I don't know which country you are from for the participants here, and how developed your IZN and IaH is. But this is the development in Thailand, still a big gap. Some leading universities can go on their own. Some universities still need help. And the policy level at the ministry will have to do something to give the strong support in the different ways as needed. It's not one size fits all. But at least from what I showed you earlier, then higher education has its own definition. Decade back, I was working as an external assessor and went to a leading university. That leading university was asking me, not really me, asking the whole group of assessors, saying that, tell me what the definition of IZN is, because we have to listen to the ministry. I was shocked. I couldn't answer. I went back to the ministry and I asked my former boss, what is the definition of IZN? This is the answer. The person said, the university has to do it on its own. They have to define it. It depends on them. You see that the mutual understanding is not met. And so by having the higher education ministry coming up with its own definition according to its own mission and vision, that could be one of the examples for others to follow as well. But the Thailand experience showed that if the ministry can do a little bit or more, furthermore to what it is working, trying to see and collect some of the definitions So 10 years ago, I started with one new thing. Then I said, okay, let's start from the definition. And here are several definitions that you can look at and then compare with your context, because everything is contextual. You can't just copy everything, and it's not one size fits all. And I hope that we have come a long way away from the word one size fits all. And this will help with us to be more specific about our context and define what exactly do we see ourselves and what exactly do we want to go from here. And again, for us here, for the participants here, please go back and then check a little bit what you think about your own country, what you think about your own university. Is it the strategic alignment and integration that you see? Is it missing? And then what are they? And how do we bridge the gaps? Like in Thailand, definitely it's still the big gap. Anyway, I painted the picture far too negatively for us. In fact, it's quite hopeful because we have the goals to go for. So when we have the IZN and then eventually to IaH, we are on the go for these goals. We still feel that people have to meet, physically meet and interact so we know each other, and then we know where they are from, what they're thinking are. We slowly learn about the real meaning of diversity. Is not diversity in the sense of country, not the sense of race, but it includes backgrounds, experiences, education, whatever. And then we know that, especially when we meet people of our different cultures, that means we learn the intercultural experiences. And that is what we want to see and then have in us as one global mindset person. Good thing we all, I feel, and then I see that most, if not all universities now talk about SDG. And so that means for this world, we are not hopeless. We have the SDG as our common goal for the common good of us people. And we know slowly that it's not for privileged few. So we start having more sessions for sharing. And yet more will be done to really make it a blast. I'd like to show you when we talk about the goals and how do we put it into practice. Before, we talk about MOUs a lot. And even now, we still talk a lot about MOUs. Thailand has some practices, I don't say good practices, okay? Some practices about MOUs. And what I don't really understand till now, with respect, I'm sorry for those who find this difficult to take. Even among government agencies, we have to do the MOUs. I was thinking to myself, come on, we are government agencies. You're supposed to talk, to communicate, to work with each other. Why MOUs? Well, and what is it for? For the boss? And I also saw in one very important case, when two agencies enter for an MOU, once a leader, new leader came in, that leader said, no, I don't want this MOU done. What does it mean? What is it for? I think we really have to look at it. What do we want to get out of MOUs? But at least there are some MOUs that means we start to have partnerships. We might have some successful networks, and we might have some friendship, the real friendship coming out of the MOUs. And definitely, what is still hard, but is easier, is that we know the numbers of people sent and received. And then we also try hard to make it more systematic. By saying systematic, that means from the projects, and we have the process, and then we try to make it more systematic in each of the steps. Yet, each of the steps, I want you to see the debrief and report. It comes to, okay, those who go to the mobility, exchanges, research, please have 1 or 2 sessions to debrief and to tell us, to share with us what you have got from this exercise, this event, this situation, and then do the report. Are these the only 2 requirements? And what could have been done more? Have we looked at the results in terms of the numbers only? Or we are thinking of the results in terms of the impact as well, not only on the persons, not only on the community, but maybe larger scale in universities and our community. But that is before. Now we look at the after. After is supposed to be more beautiful anyway. All the time, right? Thinking about all the cream stuff to lift up your face and then you appear very beautiful. From goals to practice is much better because people talk a lot more about collaboration. And we talk a lot more about learning. In the past decade, people talk a lot about lifelong learning, lifelong learners. And actually, I feel so blessed to graduate from the Faculty of Education, because then my years, that is all decades ago, we talk about lifelong learning. We talk about individualized learning, but it never happened out of many factors. Anyway, at least it's here to stay. Learning and collaboration are the 2 keywords that we have seen now. And also when friends come in, you see a lot more activities under friends with the tea houses, virtual modules. I think those 2 make it nicer for us to really see something new. And also, when you look at the input and process, it comes to learning, even though it doesn't go to the actual results and impacts yet, it is really a positive sign for us to really look at things and try to assess. It's not just report. Come on, let me ask you, in some situations, not all situations, okay? It's not all like this. The reports that we produce, we put our heart and effort and energy doing one report after our exchange to present to the level of international office, and then to our faculty, and then to the senior leaders. I really wonder how many people read the reports. How many people read with the full concentration to draw lessons learned? How many people have looked at the lessons learned to draw or capture some of the key issues that we need to do more, learn more, to improve the project as a whole? We say we have this loop, okay, we finished the loop. That means we are talking about something that is incremental improvement. It has the impact at a very small level. It doesn't impact the whole mission and vision of our universities or of a country, because it goes back and then report sits in there feeling lonely. I think reports must be the loneliest things in the world, because only 1 or 2 people said it. It was something like many books in the library before, some even very new, and the ones who touched some of the books were librarians. Good thing we can't check anymore, right? Because people prefer ebook and others online. But then be honest to ourselves and then go in and then check what we use with some of the resources, and some could be very rich out of the insights of people that are drawn into the reports that need to be digested, analyzed, and used. I'm talking about the qualitative results that we need to look at, and then how to really make us care more for qualitative, because it takes time. Like in classes, some Japanese universities used to be very frustrated. They said they don't really know how to assess the students. And one professor was sharing that he started asking his students to reflect and write something as essays in their own journal. And it worked because it helps so much for people to internalize and then share what they think. And it depends on the whole process as well, how to really capture it to become the knowledge assets of each of us, of the faculty, of the university, and of the country, of the region. Now, here comes, everyone knows it. He or she could be the demon or could be an angel. It used to be demon, but I think it's an angel. It speeds us up to do so many things. It changes us. At least it changes me. Kun COVID, I say kun COVID, so you don't know if it's a guy or not, no? Gender free. Kun COVID makes me change into this one. I said, I was naive. No, nothing comes in that kind of simple loop before. You can never go from new normal to now normal because it's unexpected because of the VUCA. And actually VUCA has come up by a Harvard professor to turn it from red to green. I term it green because it's promising, it's hopeful. And I like it because instead of saying, oh, volatility, oh, it's vision, we have to look into the future. We have to understand it and make it as clear as possible. And also try to be more agile. For the try to be clear as possible. I was thinking of one case. When I was director of standards, one dean of a university came to me and said, you know, Kun Porntip, you're asking me to come up with a quality assurance system within our faculty and universities. You don't tell us anything. I want to know exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, what you want me to do? What do we have to do? I said, I don't know. I have no idea. And that person was looking at me in amazement. How could you say you don't know? And first, at some point, I was thinking that, oh, something must be wrong with me. How come I don't know? And then I realized, after talking, after reading, after listening, I realized that in the world of change, nothing is clear. I didn't really read anything about VUCA before. Otherwise, I could have understood much faster. And then if I realized it earlier, I could have told the community of our university that let's walk together in this unclear picture and try to make it clear bit by bit. And you have your own experiment to make it clearer. And then let's put it together in one big puzzle and see what it's like. Because no one knows, but let's do it together. So when I was asked about new normal, actually, you know what? The past 3 years, people have been talking about this new normal too. I'm so sorry to say this, but I get sick of it because it was supposed to be some years ago that we were talking about new normal. Because since globalization, internationalization, things have become new normal, but because the change was not drastic, was not fast enough for us to feel the speed. But right now the speed has hastened everything. So from new normal, it can be here for us to see, like Kun COVID, we don't really know whether it's a new normal or not. But when its present is here, it has shaped us to see something very new, very different, very strange. And that's why I think we should look at IZ and IaH as a new abnormal. And we could also expect to see new normal as the next new normal. Or at some point, it could become the next new abnormal. Who knows? Anything can happen. And if people think about the brown, the gray one now normal, people say, okay, very soon we'll have the tourists will fly all over the world. Here come what? Inflation. Here come what? Recession. So we might go into another loop of the new abnormal. And what would we do? During these 2-3 years of Mr. COVID, people talk a lot about AI. People talk a lot about the employment studies and how we interact with AI or how we have the AI in our life and in other sectors. This book is recommended. I love it. It is about future skills. Thanks to Dr. Rom Yen, who introduced this to me. Future skills. This guy is a young gen, and he's a scientist. And he was saying that if he could do one thing, he would really want the diploma to say best before. And one Singaporean senior leader was saying that actually in Singapore, there were attempts to try to say, okay, this diploma lasts for 5 years. And then a lot of people just couldn't take it. I was mentioning this to some people because I really like it. Yeah, you have to think. Actually, when I was at Macquarie University, I was asking the sophomore students, do you think what you are learning is updated? Some students said yes. And then a few years later, I went back and I asked a new group of students. Some students said, I don't know. Oh, good for them to say, I don't know. And some people said to me, if best before, they say, Ajahn, it's best before yesterday. What is happening to us in our university circle? What is happening to us when the world has developed so much in terms of the technology? You have heard this term over and over again. If we haven't done anything, if we haven't started IZ and IaH, quite a few people will become useless class, just like what Harari said. Because we have the outdated skills, we don't really know how to learn, we don't really know how to interact with people. What will happen to us? What will happen to universities? Several months ago, we held a workshop in the leading university, and we asked this question as part of our workshop exercises. And the question was, if there were no universities, what would you do? People couldn't get it until one of our workshop teams members sat with them and say, now, Ajahn, you are coming to my country. Supposedly, I was the leader of one country, and you came into my country, and you said, okay, let us open a university for you. Me as a leader would go and say, what? What is university? I think we have our education and that's enough. Tell me why do we have to have it? It's not necessary. And that could be something that happens in the near or distant future, maybe nearer than expected. So that is something that I learned a lot, that when we have a lot of advances in science and technology, when people may not be the same to one degree anymore, do they care more for credits or for learning or for speed? What do they need? And the world is different now because it has one more circle and maybe many more circles from now. Right now we talk about metaverse. And that means we can go around and it's not just one after another, we can jump over and it's all depends on us. And what about us here? with internationalization at home and at homes. Is it life business abnormal too? We, Ajahn, all the faculty members, when you look at yourselves, Kun COVID has done a lot to us. I still recall watching one interview of Professor Harari, and he said, in Israel, we talk a lot for almost like 20 years, teaching online. No one wants it. Now COVID is here, everyone can do it. At first, people would say, no, this is not good. You know, just the kind of the fixed mindset and also the comfort zone, whatever have been so habitual. Anyway, this is the time for us to allow anyone to graduate anywhere, right? It's not the business as usual. And business models can be something unusually be around in the market anymore. I was thinking of going to a dental school in one university, looking at how they manage and how their performance is for the management excellence. And one of the big changes for the dental world is that no longer will the dentist, the graduating dentist, be placed to work anywhere by the government. That means no jobs available for the dentists who just graduated. This is a big change. And then they started going back to the curriculums and started revising what is essential for their students to learn before going out to the market and try to find work. What we discussed was that it must be something different from what is available in the market as well. We are thinking of going to the clinics, going to work in private hospital. What else can be done? Could be something like dentists at home, just for the checkup, or some kind of things that people form with other people from other sectors, from other professionals. Who knows? Cut across the professions to have the new business model. Or when you go around a lot, when you talk a lot, you read a lot, what about others? What are they doing? And then we learn from what they are doing, they are thinking. One leader, I couldn't remember who it is because I listened to a lot of podcast programs. And one leader said he couldn't find his way out for his challenge. He tried to pick up books and read. Some people said, I go to see some CEOs and then ask for their advice. And their advice is for us to digest and then try to capture, link with our context, and then come up to what we want to see. Work from home, who we interact with the delivery people, who we interact, like here, you know, Ajahn, this dean, he had to put in his program on video and then anytime, anyway, right? And you see this, please keep video on. A lot of you must have been through this kind of situation. Please turn on your video. The only time that we turn on our video is when we have the group picture. That's it. They say, oh, no, I'm not ready yet. Oh, I just came out of my bed. Oh, I'm still in my bed. So you see what is happening to the change that COVID as a little demon here brought us. But at the same time, even though with the less interactions, we have lots more opportunities. We have lots and larger platform, and for right here, we are trying to have some kind of the common space, be it virtual, physical, or blended. Anything that gather people together in one same place at some particular sectors or some particular issues of their life. So we have more opportunities available. Now, come to ICN at homes. IZN at homes means IZN plus at homes. My question is, whose home? Which one? Airbnb can be your home for some time, some days or some weeks or some years even. And also when you go to metaverse, it's another world for you. And that's why I was saying that we have to think abnormally, not just at home at the host and home universities, but go to other homes as well that they allow us to be in. No matter what, coming back to us, we are in higher education sector and universities are our safe zones. I love this word, safe zones for our students. Safe zones, I draw it from Kun Santitan Satien Thai, actually, sorry, who said, what will be the role of universities? And for us to do the IZN, IaH, IaHs as a host and home, make it safe. Make it a safe place for our students. And actually, it's not just our students. It goes to our faculty members. It goes to our community who comes in to use our service. And it goes to our friends who we interact, our networks, who wants to come in and feel safe at home. So it's time to ask again, why? Why do we need IZN, IaH, and IaHs? I think it is clear to say future ready. What do we do for the future of our kids, of us, the faculty members, of our country and beyond? Try to look at it as an integral part of whatever we do. IZN, IaH, all the homes. A leader and key stakeholder must engage. But before they engage, I know it is a process of trying to really make them understand, make sure that they buy in. And what about the whole IZN, IaH's ecosystem? We are on the go now, faster because it's not on the go, it's on the go, 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 go all the time. And the kids would know that the younger gens, sorry to use the word kids, some younger gens may say, I'm not kids anymore. Okay, please, sorry. For us, for my generation, we call it kids, out of the way we love them and we feel that, oh, they're so cute. My question, go to where? For what? We still have the same similar pictures. We still have the SDG. We still think that for the wisdom, we have to go. But and also the interactions between people to come up with the real intercultural awareness and understanding. But right now we have another world to do, to go, to study, and also in many private agencies around the world, and Thailand has been so active as well. They're talking about ESG, the environment, social, and then governance. Some people get scared. Some people like me, people always say that, you know how to call Grab from your smartphone. So people brand old people as technology less, no technology capability whatsoever. But for us in this era, we have a lot of technology. Some people can get scared. Some people can't speed themselves up to learn. One important thing that is the heart, whatever, it's humans. This is what I really want to focus after all, is the abnormal, but what we can do to really promote us as humans. We need to look at the IZN, IaHs, assess them, ideate with some new abnormal ideas, and then select what is best. To start, later to scale, yet the important thing is speed it up. We can't wait for decades to make it happen. And this is the slide that I use in one of the ASEM's talk. I said, life is a lab, and it's still very true. Life is a lab for us to try and fail and retry. So dare to go out and try something different, something abnormal. Other people don't do it, but I want to try. And we'll learn. And when we learn, we can act and broaden and share to us, to the community of the world and worlds. I want to come back to this one, which is the core of our human beings. 3 things that people crave are respect. Everywhere we go, we say, oh, you have to respect them, but how do you make sure that you really feel so and act so? We talk a lot about purpose. Oh yeah, green world. Look, internalize and then have it as part of the ICN, because we are going out into the world and the world to us as well. So make it one same purpose for us, maybe SDG or one part of the SDG, or whatever you want to think that is important for our world to stay together, for humans to stay together. And relationship is something very essential in our era. We are losing touch. 2 years, we didn't really have the physical meetings. One day I was invited to be a moderator of a physical session. I went there, I was lost a little. I said, oh my goodness, my skill of interacting with people has gone. And so the younger ones or the older generation who stay home a lot, right now, we need to really think of how to have the relationship, the real relationships of people to people. From the 3 that people crave come the skills, 3 skills as well that I think fit for our era. The first one, people talk about empathy. How serious are we to understand that or to use that? And design thinking has come up as one of the key approaches and tools that teach us more about empathy, thinking about our customer, thinking about user experiences, and also because we have to explore, nothing is easy anymore. So we have to have the resilience and adaptability. Otherwise, then it could be very difficult to survive into the future. People talk a lot about competition. Oh, we have to compete, especially in the private sectors. I'm glad that higher education, even though we compete, we don't really compete far too fiercely. Yet, underline everything, please remember that we are in the internationalization IaH's business. So diversity, inclusion, belonging must be in the middle of our heart. In your heart, there must be the place for these 3 words and with our understanding. And I intentionally make competitiveness a little bit smaller. You can compete, but let's collaborate more, because we really want to see us, our wisdom shared, for us to have the collective intelligence. And the world will be much nicer for humans to stay along with all the advances. And after all, it's the see oneself and the worlds. How many worlds here, I don't know. But right now, there are more than one physical world that we live in. And maybe Mars and Jupiter's and others as well. And also other gems. Because it's totally different context for them. I'm glad that friends have come up with almost the complete loop of people as a key stakeholders. And so within this, that means we focus on human beings. And the platform will be what will help us. It's not us in there, but they help us to create more impact. And definitely there will be co-learning space, and then we need to have the knowledge management system to generate knowledge, and not just knowledge, to generate user experiences, as the shortcuts for people to learn and share. And international officers can come up with KMS and logistical support. And part of it that we don't really see much in our culture, at least in the Thailand, we don't really talk about monitoring, evaluation, and reflections at the macro level, the big picture. We don't really see that as much yet. So this is one of the things that I like to point to you all. I'll give you some examples, and because I will be leaving this PowerPoint for everyone to access, so you can access anytime. And better yet is to read the book. That is really the good book. And they have lots of examples. And basically, I highlight them in green because that's the keyword that I like you to see. It's about the global leadership. It's about people of all generations, all professions to really go global, out physically, out virtually, but have the leadership and go out to the world in some forms, in some activities, participate in some forums. And I like LEADS a lot because it talks about the holistic approach. You give the opportunity, it doesn't mean one opportunity and that's it. But to look at people and then make sure that everything is inclusive for all others to benefit as well. So they even go to secondary schools students and also local elderly. So that means they include everyone and make people feel more comfortable, make people feel more at home wherever they are. And even in virtual worlds, you can and we can make it more at home for everyone. And LEADS focus a lot on leadership building, something that I really like. And in our region, in the Asian ASEAN region, we treasure relation a whole lot for centuries, as long as we live. For Australia, virtual global short programs come up with one keyword that I like because it goes with the speed, short. Younger ones don't want something to be too long. Older ones even. I think even for me, I want something short. I don't want to go for a program for 1 year. Oh, that's too long for me. Make it shorter and then maybe cut it in different modules or different sections of times. And Florida, they're very similar to have the global cafe and they have mentor. Mentor for us, we have the buddies. For friends, we have tea houses. And so this would be the multicultural. And how do we know that it's multicultural? We have to really try to find some way to let people know what it means, how it will help, and what we will learn from there. So creative projects and then collaboration for us to really think together and then work together, I think is really fun, very fun. And from listening to the summaries of a lot of books, quite a few books start talking about two words. One is fun. Oh, everything has to be fun. Oh, sounds so Thai, sanuk, and sounds so our cultures in ASEAN. We love fun. Everything may have to have fun portion. And my senior mom and the second one, I forget, I'll come back to it later. But I like to go back to this one. Everything is context specific. If we want to craft the program for our people, it's not just, I have been to absolute extreme to use everything. Some projects will need to be context specific. And no matter what, we need to have one same big picture. We need to have the common approaches, just like friends. I think we have the common approaches, what do we want to do. And then for the context specifics, we do whatever will cater to us best. And make it more strategic. And it's the cut across horizontally. Because people only talk about vertical, we need to look at the big picture and also the monitoring and evaluation across the horizons and cross regions too, within regions, cross generations and functions and discipline. And it's not just for specific discipline, because this is something that Senior Right will be doing too, because after years of exchanges, they find that going down to the discipline as such won't work as much anymore. So from the original definition of IaH, I come to the context-specific partners, and each of us may take it or leave it, whatever, or blend it, however you like. If you like the first one, go for it. I was thinking that in our culture, if we want to talk about togetherness, we need to go with the word our. We have to use our. And also, I don't want to talk too much about curriculum, because particularly in our context, when you talk about curriculum, that means you have to listen to the ministry. 5 years, you have to revise, or you have to have a set of experts, you have to have the whole thing, and it takes so long. So I said, okay, formal and informal practices and action, whatever. And it's not for all students, with all students. And I don't really, actually, I would love for us, our purpose means all the stakeholders to work together with all students in any physical, virtual, blended, whatever, across the world. So that could be my IaHs for the context-specific partner. And my hope, stress on humans, no matter what, stress on humans. And also, we can go beyond the internationalized curriculums and beyond physical mobility. Yet, it's about people. And also, thinking more about IaH's games, cases, practices, and then that could match cross-gen working together, and any type of platform for us to really feel that we can do it together. And friends can be BFF, best friends forever. That means you can't live as yet friends for longer. Futuristic super team, do you want to have one, set up one super team that look into the future, make it friendly and then future ready? Or friendiverse, something that you can think of out of this world, and how to really reflect the synthesis of all the experiences of the experienced from the West. And then for us to share and pick out some of the things, improvise some of the things that could be context specific. And that would be very good. But ask me, priorities, roles, learning, results, we decide together. We design together for IaHs to be fruitfully abnormal. Thank you. Now it's time for questions, answer, comments, reflects, react.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pointy. It was a very informative and enlightening talk. And yeah, as you said, I think the floor is pretty much open now for audience questions. It was a very enlightening talk, so I'm pretty sure that people will have questions. Please feel free to either ask directly, Ms. Pontip, right now, or to type in the chat room, and then we will relay the question for you.
Or reaction, or arguments.
Yeah, comments, anything. Anything goes, right?
Yes, Manisha, Nepali.
Yes.
Right.
Hello.
Let's
Hi.
see.
I'm Manisha Nepali, and I'm from Falun University. I am an undergraduate student, first year to be honest, to be exact. So my question is, do we really have to move from NHS to IGN to NHS? Like, what's wrong with the traditional way of teaching? Like, it's because, I come from my home country, Nepal, and where we have a traditional way of teaching. We go to college, we read books, we answer to questions. Teacher still has the upper hand and everything. And I came to Thailand, where we have daily activities every week. It's very enlightening. It is, but somewhere I feel like I'm not comfortable. It feels like that, like I have to be a part of a group that I don't want to. I would like to spend more of my time reading books and being, theoretically doing things theoretically than going out and hanging out with people, which I don't want to do. I'm a kind of introvert. So, so my question is, do we really have to be, modern, adapt the Western form of teaching? And the next thing is it okay if I feel like I need mental help? Is it okay? Because
Okay.
this is such a soft thing, small issues, but actually it brings emotions that I never felt before. So
Yeah. Thank you very much, Manisha. I think anyone can feel uncomfortable in a different environment. And even in Thailand, I feel uncomfortable in some situations as well, in some provinces as well. So it's normal. And it's your choice. Whatever you want to do, there are options for you. Yet, one of the things is that you need to balance yourself, because life is not about you and yourself alone. Life is your interaction with others as well. So maybe sometimes, okay, today I have the less mood to go out, I'll stay in. Today I have a higher degree, just a little higher degree to meet people, let me go. And eventually, once you find some good friends who really understand you, it's easier. So choose balance, and it's natural to be uncomfortable. So you are you. You internalize and you say, okay, I'm an introvert. Nothing is wrong with introvert. People look at me and say, oh, they look at my personality. Oh, you must be an extrovert. No, I can be introvert sometimes as well. And as my friends, when I was in the US, he said, I was an extreme introvert. I said, no. So it depends on the situation that we grow. And you choose. At each stage of life, we change. The second one, I think it's hard for us to really offer mental health support enough in our country, particularly during the COVID time. A lot of universities have been discussing what kind of mental support they can give, but this is necessary. And in Thai culture, they say, if you go to seek mental health, you're crazy. And that could be a outdated picture. No longer. Everyone can suffer at times, and they want other people to really listen. And then maybe just one or two words, one nod is more than enough for one person. And try to look for some mental support online. There are a lot more online now, and it will help. I would love to really go for some sessions as well. Right now, I go for one art therapy session. I love it. I just want to explore how it's like and how to really help me when I'm down, and also help others. So maybe you can try different kind of sessions as well.
So is it normal having issues like this? Like,
Oh, yeah.
because I felt like, I'm the only one. I'm the only one going through
No,
all this.
a lot of people. Several Fulbright alumni came to me. Pitip, I have some mental issues. Oh, okay. Have you got over it? How did you do it? It's normal. And I don't go, oh no, my God, what happened? No.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah.
Okay, I believe we have some more questions, some from the chat and also some people raising their hands. I think first, let's take the questions, the audience raising their hands, and then afterwards we can move to the chat questions.
Okay.
And could you please speak up? Yes, another one. Okay, let's move to the chat then. We have Noel from the University of Philippines, Diliman, asking a question. I will quote, do you think IaH also applies to university admin and support staff? What is the role of the admin and support staff in IaH? Do you think it is important to empower them as well? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Noel. I think everyone needs to have a share. And if you draw the whole ecosystem of the people to be involved, you know that every single one will share and learn and have to really know their role. What role? As a host, how do you welcome students? How do you welcome other faculty members? How do you welcome guests? And part of it is to make people feel more comfortable, learn about the culture from you being a role model, or from you handing some kind of the information sessions or some caring gestures, a lot of things, non-verbal, verbal actions, anything. And yes, it's very important to empower everyone, but it's not just everything have to do all at once. Little by little, maybe a little group in the admin group and also the support staff for them to know their roles. And that is important. I was thinking about some people always talk about NASA and the cleaning person, right? I think about hospital. One day I went to a hospital and then I was talking to a medical doctor. She said, in our culture, we will have one who helps with kind of the caterer, cleaner and caterer, okay? And this person will cater food for medical doctors. And this medical doctor was saying that, do you feel uncomfortable having to try to find food, buy food, cater food for me every lunch? And she said, no, I am very proud to do that because you don't really need time to go to the canteen and then pick up the food yourself. I can do it, everything ready for you, so you have more time to tend to the patients. See, everyone has the role. It depends on how we see them in some crucial roles, and they see themselves in some crucial roles. All will contribute to the vision, mission of the organization of the university.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pontip. I think we are a little bit short on time now. So anybody else who has questions or comments, including myself, will have to get in touch with, we'll have to get in touch with Mahasakam University, the main host, and I will relay those questions and comments to Ms. Pontip. Thank you so much once again for this excellent presentation speech. That was a great shift of frame of reference, and I think everybody enjoyed that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I think we are ready for our second expert speaker, who is Dr. Anyarat Natirapong. And as the Deputy Director for Foreign Language Development at the Office of General Education at Mahasakam University, Dr. Anyarat promotes national and international mobility by expanding domestic and international partnerships. She also serves as the head of the Language, Culture, and Global Citizenship Research Unit at the Department of Western Languages and Linguistics, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences at MSU. So with such an impressive background, we are very much looking forward to listening to her talk titled Internationalization at Home, A Cinderella Story. And with that, I would like to give the floor over to Dr. Anyarat.
Thank you so much, George. And actually, I am a little nervous because your talk kind of empowered everyone, and I'm sure everyone enjoys P-Tip's talk a lot, and we've learned a lot from her talk as well, from her insight and experiences in internationalization. And I would also like to kind of to address Manisha's concern as an introvert before I start presenting my work. Okay, let me first share my slide, and then I would like to kind of like address Manisha's concern. Just like Pitip, and I am 100% an introvert, actually. People wouldn't believe when I tell them that I am an introvert, because when they see me work, and kind of like enjoy being around people, like making things fun, making lots of jokes, and very active in whatever I'm doing, they thought that I was an extrovert. But actually, I am 100% an introvert. And yeah, I feel you. I understand what you're feeling. On a typical day, I usually have a plan and I have work to do. And when I finish my work, I just want to go home and lick my wounds. So if you also experience something like this, you have a friend in me. I am your friend, um, and I'm sure we have a lot more people who experience something similar to us. And as Pitip mentioned, experiences and, different stages of life, we change. And before we might focused on, being liked by people or like pleasing people. But when you're older, you kind of like have lots more experience in life, and also like through lots of things that you have done throughout different stages in your life. And then you know that being an introvert is not something weird at all. And education, at least from my experience, shaped kind of like aim to shape all of us to be the same. Like education, at least from my experience, like in the past, aim to make people introvert. Like they kind of like wanted us to be able to give, like to talk in public and do things in front of others, while people like us, introverts, were kind of like scared to death when we had to do that. So we are friends, and that's why we kind of like, like need a lot more of platforms like this to share our experiences. Okay, so Anya Ratna Tirapong, you can call me Ying. It's my nickname, YING. And if it's difficult to remember, you can call me Anya as well. It's from my name, Anya Rat. And I work at the Office of General Education. And my main responsibilities include internationalization and global engagement. I'm going to talk about my work and tell you why my topic is something about a Cinderella story. All right, so who might benefit from my Cinderella story? All the angels would benefit from my Cinderella story. And actually, it's you, like those who are here with me and with us at the Friends Thailand National Conference. You who've been working so hard for your community, for the students at your university, or if you're from schools, from anywhere, if you work hard and put your heart and effort into doing things better every day, you might benefit from my Cinderella story. And Noel from the Philippines, I would like to, you might as well benefit, I hope, from my story and my experience, because I'm going to talk about my colleagues in the office as well. They're all Cinderellas in my eyes, at least. All right, so why Cinderella? We need to trace back to 2016 when I was offered the position at the Office of General Education. The then current director kind of like approached me and asked me to join the team. He said the university wanted us to help students enjoy studying English. They wanted to see higher English scores and lots of great things that they wanted us to do. But actually those things didn't really attract me. But when the director talked about something that I thought very meaningful and important for a higher education institution to do, he talked about student experience. And he said, because like the then current director and I worked together as assistant to the presidents in the past. Like I worked at the international office before. So he said, like I admired the work that you did at the international office. I loved how you brought people from abroad to MSU and organized different activities for the students. You brought international people to MSU and you did lots of things. I want you to do that at the Office of General Education. And that, like he got me at that moment, because I always want to empower my students. Like I graduated from Chulalongkorn University. I did my first degree there. And then I just came to MSU right off the bat from Bangkok to MSU back in, many years ago. I've lost count. and yeah, and I got to work at the international office as a staff officer before. I got the Royal Thai Government scholarships to do my master's and then later my PhD. So I always want to do something related to youth empowerment. So when he mentioned student experience and international experience, like when he said that he wanted MSU students to have, that, as PT mentioned, like something like global mindset and to have the international experience they deserved because they're in a higher education institution. We should be a place where they feel inspired and empowered to, to do better for themselves and the wider community, actually. So I thought at the time, the student needed to know what benefited them by themselves and not by, like people like us, telling them, this is good for you, try this. So what I thought at the time, I thought, okay, we should give them more options. And English should not be viewed as, something big. Actually, English should be viewed as one of the tools for students to utilize, at different points in their lives. If they think that English is important, learn it, like develop your English skills and, use English as a tool to achieve your goals. So I just thought at the time, okay, I joined the team and let's bring the world to MSU. And that's the beginning of everything. But actually at the beginning, it's very tough for me because there's so many challenges. I started my post in November 2016 and everything, budget-wise, everything had been done already, like all the budget allocations. So I started with 100K to bring the world to MSU. And it was quite challenging because I was so, excited to do something new and, something beneficial for the students, something empowering, something inspiring. But then with 100K, I needed to seek allies. I needed to communicate my vision with people who might share the same vision, who might want to reach the same goals. And I also needed to communicate my vision with the students as well. So yeah, I started talking to different people, including the students and staff and lecturers and administrators, like everyone actually. At the beginning, my colleagues at that time, there were only two other colleagues who worked in my office. So there's just three of us. My colleagues experienced failures a lot in the past. Like they try several ways to serve the students and, help the students, help the universities, but they were faced with lots of setbacks and they were not confident at all. So I heard my colleagues saying something like, Ajahn, okay, so for some of you who are not familiar with the Thai context, the word Ajahn means teacher. So it's like a generic term to call someone in the profession, right? Just like sensei in Japanese and lao shu in Chinese, for example. So I heard something like, Ajahn, it's not gonna work. We tried this before. It's not gonna work, Ajahn. And I heard this like I think almost every day. But I listened a lot. I I couldn't remember what I said to them. Maybe I said nothing, or I might say something like, okay, let's do this together. Let's just try this together. Let's make it work together, something like that. But I listened a lot to different people, especially my two colleagues in the office. I listened to their anxieties, their frustrations, their feelings, their stories, like their emotions, like everything. I try to pick up different pieces and try to piece things together and try to see what we could do together to make this work for our students and the community. So I called my approach a bottom-up approach, actually, because I approached people who were both targets and agents of change, like the students, the supportive staff, the academics who wanted to do something for their students, to do something new and creative and up to date and beneficial and inspiring and empowering for their students, and also some administrators as well. And I would say we focused more on the quality, although we knew that the university wanted to see the quantity side of things as well. They want to see figures, numbers. We also like submitted reports with figures and numbers as well. And we didn't fake it. We tried to make it happen. But we, as a team and with our allies, prefer the qualitative side of things because we got to learn about people experiences, stories, emotions, and feelings, and we could use, like those stories and information to kind of like feedback to our office and try to make things better every time. So apart from we, like three of us at the time in 2016 to 2017, just like three of us, we could not do great things. So we sought allies, and the students, some of the students at MSU volunteered their time, skills, and knowledge to help other students on different activities. And when it comes to training, actually, in my office, we do on-the-job training most of the time. Like every day, we learn things together. For example, back in 2017 or 18, well, actually, I started using Canva to create, different things like Facebook posts and, like PowerPoint presentations and lots of things. And I'm one of the colleagues used a PowerPoint, right? I was impressed with her work actually, because I thought she used the same tool. So I asked her what kind of tools you use to create this like beautiful design. And she said it's PowerPoint presentation. So I learned from her, and she also learned from me as well. And I got like Canva Pro, like, so you could, be very creative in like creating anything. So I share my Canva Pro with my colleagues, and they all enjoy like doing new things and creating, putting lots of things, like on our designs. And yeah, so with the students as well, we do on-the-job training most of the time, but we also have like train the trainer programs for them as well. Not only for the students or the two colleagues in my office, but we organize train the training programs for supportive staff, lecturers, and administrators who are working towards the same goals and who share the same vision. Like, like we organize that for them, and we kind of like help one another. We have established a very strong team of people who share the same vision. So we work with people across the university, including the international office as well. So I approached a lot of students as well, those whom I saw something in them, like some very good qualities that we needed for the job at the Office of General Education. And some of them could not speak English. They like one of them in particular, I still remember that story. He told me, Ajahn, I never listened to English songs until I came to MSU. So we worked a lot with first generation college students, and like we empower one another, and together we empower the others within our community, and hopefully like in the wider community as well. So I said, no English, no problem, because you have the qualities, you have the skill sets, you have different abilities. Like different people could contribute to the work of the office differently. We don't need the people with the same sets of skills or abilities or intelligences. We need diversity. And so these people are empowered to do great things for others. Together we create greater impact in our community and hopefully, the wider world. Okay, so at the beginning, there are only 3 people in my office, plus homeroom friend advisors, plus our allies, both inside and outside of the university. Some of our allies are, in different countries. I call these students friend advisors because I want them to help other students or other people in the community. So we can call them like advisors, but like when you talk about an advisor, like a PhD advisor, for example, you might get a little scared because that term might comes with lots of things to different people, right? So I add the word friend at before advisors to kind of remind the student volunteers and everyone who works with them that they're more like friends to those that they work with or work for. So we have homeroom friend advisors, our allies, and people in the office. And through time, now is 2022, our community is very expansive and we are growing. Right now, I have 5 people working with me in the office instead of 2. So we have like 3 more, which is very, like meaningful to all of us. Like everyone plays their part in our work. As you can see, actually they have more qualities, but I just put some of their qualities here. I have the manager. Okay. And in my office, there's only one colleague who could speak English. And she's educated abroad in Australia, actually. That's why she could communicate in English, and she could help me a lot when it comes to, things related to English. But all the others could not, but they could do could do a great job together as a team and, as individuals as well. They need to work with international people like students, professors from abroad, and, just like everyone actually, and they could do very well. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give you some examples later, or maybe I should do it now. Like, for example, the helper, he's like a goal-oriented person, and he loved to help people. We just finished our MSU Indie Camp. Indie stands for Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity. So we is a 1-week international youth camp, and we got students from 10 or 11 countries, like from the UK, from South Africa, from Japan, from Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Laos, Thai, Zimbabwe, like different countries. Some students travel from China as well, because they just like wanted to come to the camp, and then later went to their home country, which is Laos. So the helper helped the Muslim students find places where they can pray, actually. So wherever we went, the helper always helped the Muslim students find clean places for them to pray. And the Muslim students were very thankful for the, they were grateful for the support that they got from the helper. And, they talked highly about him, and, lots of good stories. And the supporter, for example, she could not speak English, but she could drive a Malaysian student from Mahasarakham to Khon Kaen airport and help him find a hotel to stay because his flight got canceled. And she could not speak English. Still, she could do lots of things for the Malaysian student, and the Malaysian student expressed his gratitude towards the supporter. So we have lots of, good qualities in our office, and together we can create greater impact with our allies as well. All right, so then you see how we kind of change, or if you want to use the word grow or evolve over time, then you see that, we started very small. We had a small group of allies, and we were faced with resistance actually at the very beginning. We are still facing some resistance even at the moment, and we got little support. But over time, we have more allies, less resistance, and much more support. We changed from the language center. We changed. It's not the university that told us to change. We wanted to change, and the university was very kind, like the Office of General Education, the current director is very kind to us, like, okay, if you want to change, because what we have been doing involve a lot more than just, the responsibilities of the language center. So over time, we changed from the language center to the Center for Lifelong Learning. And right now, Center for Internationalization and Global Engagement. And we work on different areas, actually. Here are the 5 priorities of our delivery plan. So we focus on international experience and campus culture, domestic and international partnerships, national and international mobility, outreach, and community. And actually the global reputation, I think it's kind of a byproduct kind of thing. I don't specifically focus on this. I just hope that when people look at MSU and then they see us as a small unit that does everything that they can to support internationalization and the students, the staff here and the university, also our community, hopefully the wider community. And our stance, internationalization is not an obligation. It should be integrated into our daily work routine as we work in academia and play an important role in promoting global citizenship, intercultural learning and experience, and inclusive, engaging campus cultures. So it should be everyone's responsibility. I would like to also talk about the other deputy director who will be joining us in November. Because if you look at my work, you'll see that I have done something related to student empowerment, SDGs, internationalization, and global engagement. But because our work is kind of growing and expanding, so we need someone who is very important and talented, and who also shares the same vision, like Dr. Atapon Mumi, who will be joining us next month. And we work very closely with student unions, and it's not the university student union only, but also the student unions at different faculties. So that is one of his plans as well. So we are so excited to have him with us, and we can work alongside the international office and all the other offices across the university to promote internationalization towards the same goals, actually. And as Josh mentioned in his introduction, I am also the head of this research unit, and we try to kind of, before, when I started this post in 2016, it took a lot of time to build a strong team, and also to plan, design, deliver, and develop our work through time. What I have done so far is just to post about our work on social media, actually, and tell people stories. And actually, we have unpaid PR personnel as well, like those who work with us or those who benefit from our activities and projects. They're our unpaid PRs, and they helped us a lot, actually. So I just thought at one point, I was ready to do more, for this community, because MSU Homeroom, I should have shown you before our Facebook page. I'll show you later. We have done a lot for people in our community, especially the students, not only MSU students, but students in schools in the region, and also some students from other universities as well, because our activities are open to the public, so anyone can join. We also organize some language and cultural online language and cultural programs for MSU demonstration school. So we have done a lot, but we need to kind of create greater impact through our research as well. So that's why my colleagues and I decided to, okay, let's do this. We were going to establish this unit, and we're going to work together to create greater impacts, to tell stories in the form of research and publications. So at the moment, we are working with Professor Christopher Jenks from Utrecht University, the Netherlands, and Dr. Chalom Chaiwongrak from Ubon Ratchathani University. And the three of us, Intisan, Eric, and I, work at MSU. So we explore identity, sociocultural diversity, global citizenship, intercultural awareness, and translanguaging strategies in intercultural interactions. And yeah, because we always hope to bring MSU to the world and bring the world to MSU. And that's what we are doing. That's part of my job as well. Like the other post. All right, so let's talk about the 5 priority areas of our delivery plan. Actually, I call it our delivery plan, but actually we have done this already. Like, it's nothing new to us. It might be one or two more activities added to the slides here, but I'm going to give you some overall picture of what we are doing here at MSU. In terms of international experience and campus culture, actually we have done this since actually before the pandemic. We did language and cultural exchange programs with universities outside of Thailand, like in Turkey and in Japan, and not only with universities, with schools as well. So our students got to like participate in those language and cultural exchange programs, and we think that kind of like brings the world to our students, as Pitip mentioned earlier. Internationalization takes many forms. Like, so this is what we do for our students. And we also like every year we organize MSU International Day. The students got to kind of like learn from people from different cultures, and about many different things. Actually, we empowered our speakers to just carry out any activities related to their cultures, and then later prepare the students for cultural performances. So they got to speak English, learned about the world through the experiences of the speakers, and during the pandemic, we did this online actually. For example, in 2020, I think we invited speakers from Russia, from Turkey, and from Japan, and we got students from many different countries. We got students from the US, from Europe, from Africa, and from Asian countries as well, who participated in our online MSU Homeroom International Day, and it's a successful one. Actually, one of the happiest moments so far for us as a team working for the students at MSU. And we also have MSU Homeroom Festival. We would like the students to showcase their talents. So we have public speaking, singing, and also video competition. So students from all faculties could participate, and they'll learn from the experts, they learn from the feedback, and like the majority of them return to like the next MSU Homeroom Festival. Like, some of the students participated since they were freshers up until their senior years, actually. So that is something that we do for our students as well. And we organize every year MSU Homeroom Halloween, or if Halloween happens to be during the exam week, then we'll organize something in November called MSU Student Day. And the event is quite similar to MSU Homeroom Halloween, but we just don't have the haunted house. And I love the haunted house. Some of the students love the haunted house, maybe all of them. And we also have MSU Homeroom Christmas Market as well. As you can see, our Christmas event is quite a big event. And this year we plan to collaborate with more offices across the university, and also some local businesses as well, because we would like our Christmas market to be like an annual event that people are looking forward to, just like all the other events. Well, actually the students are looking forward to our Christmas event, but we would like it to be something like a Loi Krathong event, if you know what I mean. Like in Thailand, people are looking forward to that light festival. So we would like to do this as well at MSU. And when it comes to campus culture, we don't limit ourselves to only the cultures of, like foreign countries or Thai culture, but the cultures of the students as well, like whatever they enjoy doing, whatever they love doing, whatever they are passionate for, we try to bring those things to MSU. And, some people kind of like asked us, why you do this? Is nothing related to English learning, or it's nothing related to your office responsibilities. I think I don't get to kind of like tell them why, but okay, I'll take this platform to tell like whoever questioned this. We just do this to bring the students closer to us and to show them that we care, to show them that we admire them for who they are, and to kind of like bring them closer to us. So whenever we have a key message to like, kind of like feedback to them, or deliver to the students, or whenever we have like important events or something that it's not, something that is not in their areas of interest, but they know that we love them, they know that we care for them. Some of them participate, and actually some of them volunteer. For example, we host a cover dance contest every year at either our MSU Homeroom Halloween or MSU Student Day. Whenever we organize something else, for example, MSU Homeroom International Day or MSU Homeroom Festival, some of the teams, the cover dance teams, contact us and ask whether they could volunteer. Like they want to perform. Like, do you want us to kind of like, perform at the event? We could do that. And, like we don't need to pay them, although we want to, but because it's not in our plans, but the students just want to volunteer, and we could create the sense of volunteerism in the students and a sense of belonging. In the students, they could develop a sense of belonging to MSU and to our community. And that for us means a lot more than the figures and numbers. But we know that we need to do both. All right, and we also have like partnerships with people in Thailand and abroad. And when you see here, some people may say, wow, that's a lot. Some people may say, oh, I have a very long list of partnerships. That is nothing. I don't mind. And I would say we only have like 2 official agreements. One with Toku in Turkey, the first one, the first university, and the other one with IDP Thailand. And for all the others, we just work. We just like enjoy working together for our students, university, and the community. So we just collaborate, and we don't need, official letters or anything to prove that we work. We put our work out there. We invite everyone to join our event. And, those who benefit or those who love or those who see the importance or the meaning of what we're doing will be our unpaid PRs again. But we also understand that the university wants to know how many partners you have at the moment. And, I think the reason being, how can we support you with all of these activities with different partners? How can we as an educational institution support you? So we try to make it official when we are ready. Bear with us. All right. So yeah, for national and international mobility, at the moment we have our MSU Indie Camp, and I also plan to do another camp as well. I just talked to my team, and they're kind of like, another camp. It doesn't mean that they don't want to do, but to organize an international youth camp and welcome people from different cultures and backgrounds. And, you need to deal with a lot of things like accommodation, like lodging, transportation, all the information, like everything. And not only with the students campers, but with the speakers who are going to talk at the event, like this session on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and SDGs and lots of things, who will be involved. So it needs a lot of planning and collaborative effort from not only people in the office, but with people outside of our office as well. So when I told my team that, guys, I think apart from our annual entrepreneurship boot camp, we should have this one as well. It should be international. So when I talked about the entrepreneurship boot camp, I talked about a semester long work actually for my team. And as you know, there are only 5 members apart from me, like including me, 6 members in the office. So if we have like so many big events and so many big camps in 1 year, it would be a lot of work. But actually my team love working with the kids. Sorry again, just like what Pitip said, some students might not happy when we call them kids, but because we adore you, that's why we use the word kids. Okay, so that is something that we need to work on as well with our allies, and we hope to expand our work to benefit more people. And of course, we still focus on the quality. And we do some outreach and community activities as well. We started doing our plucking activity back in 2018 or 17, 18, I think it's 2018, when a group of students who got YC scholarship kind of like started this plucking activity, and we wanted to join them several times, but we are very busy in our office, like with all the activities that we did. So what we did in the past was so spontaneous. We're just like, guys, let's do this today. Okay. And then we just got up and started, kind of like collecting garbage around the campus. And we did this without telling anyone that we're doing this for the university. But we, of course, kind of like posted something about our plucking activity and asked people to come join us anytime. And we were thinking of doing this international event, something like MSU homeroom plucking event. But we still need to like do a lot of planning and think about in what shape or form that we could do this. And we offer free language classes, both in person and also online. And we have free online learning programs. So if you visit our Facebook page, you will see, if you go to videos, you'll see lots of language learning videos. Like we have Japanese, Chinese, French, Khmer, and English learning videos for our students. We also have like the TOEIC and IELTS tutorial videos for our students as well. Like if you visit MSU Homeroom Facebook page and go to videos, you see lots of playlists there, and you can just like try to see what benefits you, and maybe try some of the videos, and if you like, follow us. you benefit more. And we also have affordable short courses. Just like Peter said, we love the word short, right? So our short courses might last 1 or 2 months, like 20 hours or 18 hours sometimes. And we use the word affordable because it's very affordable. It's very cheap. It's like a price of a moo kratha meal. If you're in Thailand, I'm sorry to use the word moo. Is the price of a barbecue meal in Thailand is like 299, for example, because we think as an educational institution, you need to do more for the public, and because we promote lifelong learning. If we make our courses expensive, then we cannot reach out to more people. So that's why we kind of like set the price very low. The university might not be happy, but I know that they're happy when they know the rationale behind that low prices. And we are also one of the official IELTS test centers delivered by IDP Thailand as well. So I kind of regard this as a community kind of thing, because when I approached IDP Thailand, and actually the coordinator at the time kind of agreed that we should have more like centers outside of Bangkok to serve more, and to kind of like help people in the region save money, actually. So you can save money on accommodation, lodging and transportation. You don't need to travel to Bangkok or big cities to take the test. You could do it like at MSU, very close to your place, right? And okay, so we don't measure success or happiness, we feel it in our hearts. We focus more on quality, as I told you, and I keep repeating this actually. Some students who participated in our activities usually volunteer their time, knowledge and skills to help others later. In this picture, you see Kinan. He's from Azerbaijan. He just graduated from a university in Turkey. And actually, he was a student in my class. I was invited to teach a course at a Turkish university last year, I think. And after that, at one point, I think the last class, I brought MSU Homeroom Friend Advisors to the class. It's an online class, actually. And we did some fun activities together. They got to learn about some cultural things, like, I designed some language games for them as well. Like, they got to learn about Turkish words and Thai words, and actually I worked very closely with their lecturers, who's my colleague at the University of Warwick when we did our PhD together. So after that, some Turkish students volunteer to help with lots of activities. including Keenan as well. Keenan volunteered to help me with many other activities, including a language, I think like a language activity for MSU demonstration school students. And also he asked if he could kind of like teach a class. I think is like he wanted to teach how to compose music because he's a musician as well. Apart from being a very good student, he's a musician, and he put his music on Apple Music, YouTube and Spotify and lots of things. So he volunteered to help teach a class, and like we kind of like made this class open to the public, and people kind of like apply from in Burapha University, and also like a lecturer from Kasetsat University also like apply, like signed up for the course, and they kind of like enjoy the experience together. And as I mentioned earlier, we work with first generation college students. They are our homeroom friend advisors. Some of them are our homeroom friend advisors. Some participate in our activities. And we also share stories, of the first generation college students on our Facebook page as well, both in Thai and in English, because we want to empower other students. We want students to realize that they too could do it, they have the ability to develop new skills, useful skills, or they have the ability to do anything to serve the purpose of their life, and to lead a life full of aspirations and encouragement. So we share the stories of first generation college students on our Facebook page. And yeah, we also share stories of what we hear from those who work with us, and the student participants as well. We share this thing on our Facebook page because we would like to make sure that our community members know that we care for them, and we're here to create a safe and supportive community for everyone. We try to make it inclusive, engaging, and safe for everyone to participate. And yeah, we have a lot of stories from our MSU Indie Camp. For example, if you look at trends, and actually the students allowed us to post their messages on our Facebook page, because before we asked them to do this, we told them that we're going to share this on our Facebook page, and also please send us your pictures with the Indie Camp t-shirt. So Trin send us this picture, and also share some of the stories with us. So she learned about international French cultures. Her Muslim friend also share stories or things about his religion with her. She learned about punctuality in Japan. She learned about SDGs, paleontology, social enterprise, inclusion, diversity, and equity. And she learned how to love one another, and she mentioned the word team as well. So things like this that keep us going, and trying to do better for our students and the community, the wider community, if we can. Okay, so here comes to the end of my presentation. Our Cinderella story started with the vision of bringing the world to MSU and MSU to the world. It took years to build a strong team who understand the vision, share the common goals, and realize their abilities. as well as their contributions to the well-being and growth of others. Our Cinderella story has no ending, since each of us will carry the spirit of MSU Homeroom with us wherever we go. Each of us knows that we can inspire change and lead with purpose. The Cinderella within us is not crying for Prince Charming, but a better situation for all. Internationalization, which by its very nature can take many different forms and requires continued collaborative effort. Therefore, we, Cinderellas, will continue being creative in what we are doing, developing useful skills and learning more about the world in order to do whatever benefits the students and wider world. And here's a picture of our Cinderellas. Well, actually there's 6 in our office, right? This picture was taken on the last day of our student's internship. So we were bidding farewell to him and we took this picture. So he's in the middle and we kind of like showed him some love. And yeah, so if you wish to contact us, you can email us, call us, or visit MSU Homeroom. I'm going to show you our Facebook page pretty soon. And actually my team members are here with us. They might be laughing because I think they might not know what picture I chose, but I chose this picture because, you know, you could tell that these people are happy people. They love what they're doing. They are so passionate about doing things for themselves, because when you kind of help others, you get to learn to love yourself and to develop the skills necessary for your personal and professional development as well. So my team kind of like understand their place in the world, and they know that they could do great things together, like, you know, as a team and with our allies, or even if you kind of like separate them, each of them can do great things on their own as well, I'm sure. And if you would like to contact me, feel free to email me as well. It's anyarat.n@msu.ac.th. Actually, I put a link, but I hope I got a link here. Right. Okay, I show you MSU Homeroom Facebook page. Sorry. If you're in Thailand, you might have heard about the tragedy that just took place yesterday, right? So our hearts are shattered, and our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected by the heinous crime. And we try to make the experience at MSU inclusive for everyone. So tomorrow, for example, we're gonna post something about a very important Muslim day on our Facebook page as well. And I think 2 days ago we posted something for our Jewish friends on our Facebook page. We posted about this event as well, and yeah, we share stories from whatever we did, and then, you know, whenever we got new stories, we posted the stories on our Facebook page. Just like Toshi from Japan, he said, I think I will continue to promote, especially inclusion. The reason is that I think inclusion makes peace in our world. I believe generosity and acceptance can realize inclusion. And this is an unedited voice of the students, because we value student voice and agency, and also like student leadership. So we don't edit their voice. We ask for their permission before posting. They send us pictures and the messages that they want to share with the world. So we kind of like, you know, like share the different stories from our activities and projects with the world. And if, for example, this one, Nong Nam, he's a student at MSU at the Faculty of Architecture, Urban Design, and the other thing I couldn't do, creative art, I think. And he studied with me when he was in Matayom 1 or 2, so it's like grade 7. He got a scholarship from the US Department of State to attend our access program at MSU. So we, through MSU American Corner, kind of organize English classes for underprivileged students at MSU for a period of, I think, 6 or 7 years. And then the pandemic hit. Then everything was put on hold. Nam, when he was a student in my class, back in, I couldn't remember exactly, but when he was in Matum 1 or 2, he said that he wanted to be a fashion designer. And, later he came to MSU. Well, actually he started his business when he was in Matum 3. He started cutting dresses for his teachers and, like people around him. I think he started very small. He started from designing and cutting, like maybe bags for people. And when people were interested, he offered them, he asked them whether they wanted him to, design and make dresses for them. And, his teachers were very kind. But Nam is very talented. So yeah, he started his business when he was very young, at 15, I think. And then later he joined MSU, and he works with us at MSU Homeroom as MSU Homeroom Friend Advisor. And yeah, he's actualizing his dream. So things like this actually kind of like inspire us to learn more about what we can do for our students, the university, and the wider community. And we are so committed to doing this, and we'll try our best to, make it better every time we do things. And okay, this one is the helper in our office. We also empower staff to do research as well, because he's so into doing research. So, and he could publish his research paper in an academic journal. So we kind of like celebrated his, milestone with everyone. And, like he got a lot of support here as well, like 49 people liking this post and 4 shares and, like things like that. We work with the university in Japan for high school, junior high school students, actually, one in Japan and one at MSU, the MSU demonstration school. So the project's going to take place next month. They're going to do some language and cultural exchange program online again. So lots of things that we do here. And if you want to find out more about us, you can, like go to our MSU Homeroom Facebook page, and you see how we communicate with our community and how we kind of empower one another to like do better for ourselves and our community. So that's the end of my presentation. And if you wanna share your experience, I think I call this as an experience sharing section. Let me go back to my slide. Right, yes. That's all about my talk. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Anyarat, for sharing this wonderful Cinderella story with us. It was very informative and inspirational. I think all the audience can agree. It was very nice. And this is a time for the audience to ask questions, make comments, either just like before in the chat or raise the hand emotion.
Sorry that I took longer than I thought I would.
No worries. We also started a little bit later, so that's all fine, and we enjoyed it. In the meantime, while we are waiting for audience questions, let me share with you a wonderful comment from Pitip here. She says, Ying can touch the hearts of students and key stakeholders because of the respect and relationship building, and she sure has shown her purpose that goes beyond self and university. That was her comment. So nice.
And
Right.
sorry, sorry, Josh.
No.
It was ethical to clone. I think we would like to have several fun tips. if it was ethical to clone people, I think we would like to clone you. we we want more people like you. Thank you, Josh.
Yes. Thank you. Right. I would like to make a comment actually. I liked how parallel, speaking of this, how parallel your presentation was at some point with Pitip's earlier presentation, especially when you talk about the agreements with that you did, and you just said that you had official agreements with like a couple of them, and the rest you just work with them, and that's great, because also Pitip said the same thing about the MOUs, that we should shift our focus from MOUs to actually just work with them, and you already put that theory into practice, and that's pretty cool. Thank
you.
Yeah.
Pitip, Darren, and I kind of met before this, and we kind of share our thoughts on what we're going to talk at the event. And surprisingly, we just thought about similar things. Shadin, Shadin,
Yeah,
there's his hand, right?
we have someone raise hands, right? Yeah. Will you please, who's the person raising hand?
Shadin?
Shadin, right, yeah. Will you please? Yeah. Shadin Baruanishu, right? The floor is yours. You can talk with Dr. Anya.
Hi, Shadin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. So I'm Shadin Barua. I'm from the Faculty of Tourism and Hotel Management, MSU. I'm a fourth-year student. So I'm from Bangladesh, and now I'm doing in my fourth year. So I would like to share my experience with homeroom. So during the first times when I came to MSU, at that time, I kind of felt that where can I do some activity, for being an international student. I really wanted to involve myself in the activities that are going around the university. And then when I have been connected with MSU, it was incredible. We had a camp, 1 or 2 day camp, and we had activities together. And at that time, it was kind of saved me. I was kind of thinking, am I at the right place to be? Or am I lacking of the activities that I want to do in my university life? But when I joined with MSU homeroom and its fantastic activities, the students and the friends there, and Ajani ma'am, she's amazing. We can share everything to her, and she's a fantastic personality, a lot of things to learn from him. And there are the other friends as well, from whom I could learn a lot and share my happiness all together. So it has worked incredibly for me personally. So I'd like to thank MSU Homeroom so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shadin, for your beautiful words and words of encouragement. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you as well. Okay, and may I also read again from our chat. We have feedback from Noel Rivera. And I quote, "Thank you for sharing the inspiring story of your ASEAN journey. If you don't mind, may I ask a kind of administrative question? Does your uni or office provide some kind of compensation or admin load or something to the faculty members or students who serve as advisors? And when recruiting them, do they go through some kind of training or orientation by your office? If yes, generally, what are included in that training? Thank you so much."
Wow. This is a very good question. Well, not only one, right? Good questions. Thank you. No. Okay, let me answer the first one. Yeah, my university provides some compensation for me to take another position at the Office of General Education. But yeah, like but because I work with lots of students and on many different projects, sadly, we haven't got compensation for the students, but they kind of know that they'll get a lot more from the experience, like from working with us on different projects. And, so I usually use money from my own pocket to like buy them food and take them to restaurants, and like maybe I drive them home, and because sometimes when we finish work at night, I don't want to regret letting them go home by themselves. So I sometimes ask them to like park your motorbikes here and get in my car, I drive you home. So it's more about like human to human kind of thing. And because my energy is on making things happen, and for everyone, and I want everyone to feel included, supported, and like I want them to feel like at home. It's like home away from home, just like P-Tip said. There's so many homes, right? So it's more like that. And if we are lucky, we have sponsors. Just like those who work with us, our allies, sometimes they sponsor us as well. Like they know that we need to spend a lot. And if you look at the budget that we receive each year and you compare the budget with the activities we do, you know that the budget is like so little for the things that we do. So we need allies, and those who understand us, sometimes they sponsor us. They're like, okay, you need money to like buy food for the kids, right? And then they kind of like give us the money, they help us. And one thing that I want to see at MSU and through the international office, I hope that let me just take this platform. I'm not blaming anyone, but to do work with international people, with people from different countries. Sometimes you don't work during the office hours. My colleagues, I'm not talking about myself, like, because I am the one who bring trouble to them. And I am the one who should be blamed, because I always like, let's do this, let's do that, like I talk with that university, they also want to do this, let's do this, but we need to do this at 6 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, and up until midnight sometimes, because we work with like countries in Europe, for example. And my colleagues need to stay up very late, and they get nothing from that. it's not anyone's fault. Maybe it's my fault because I don't fight for them enough. But so what I do for them would be some other kinds of compensation, like my love. And no, actually, we are more like family. We are friends. We help one another, and I do have things for them on different occasions. They're like my families. If they're not well, I help them. If they need help, I help them. Like if they need help to publish their paper, I kind of like loan them some money, for example, joking. So it's more about directing your energy to what you want to see, to the change that you want to see in your community. And then, the other things would be second to that. And you manage that with your heart, with your abilities, and with your allies. Because if you have allies, you are safe. And you'll be safe by yourself as well. You should be safe by yourself first. Okay, and for training, Noel, I would like you to kind of like get in touch with me because it would be a long story actually. Like when we talk about training, as Pitip said, we should like kind of like keep ourselves updated with things that are going on around us. So I cannot give you specific answers about what kind of activities or what knowledge or content or skills that we focus on, like developing during different points of time. So if, for example, someone asks me to give a workshop for supportive staff next month, then I need to like do a lot of research and like try to see what worked best for them and what would help them kind of like apply the things that they learn from the workshop to be suitable, in their contexts. So just like what Pitip said, there's no one size fits all. So like, yeah, so if you want to like get in touch, please get in touch, yeah, you can always email me. And we can schedule a Zoom meeting as well. Sorry, George.
No worries. Thank you, Dr. Anyarat. I see that your presentation has generated a lot of discussion and comments, and that's always a great thing. Unfortunately, we are a little bit short on time and empty stomachs are waiting. So I'll ask everyone who has remaining questions or comments to please either relay it now directly to Dr. Anyarat through the chat, or get in touch with MSU, and MSU will send those comments as well. And then, right. And so now I will thank once again Dr. Anyarat for this wonderful presentation. I see that she has shared her email address once again in the chat room this time, so you can refer to that. And yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Anyarat. I will announce now we'll take a short break until 1 p.m. lunch break. And in the meantime, I would like to also ask you guys all the audience to please give us some feedback, either through the link in the chat or through the QR code shown right now about this whole session. What do you think? And yeah, how we can improve and all that kind of stuff. I believe it is a Google form and it's a short one. It doesn't take too long, and we appreciate your sharing your thoughts with us. Right, and also please remember to come back for the afternoon session. We'll have a new MC and 4 speakers, 4 experts, starting with Europe. We're gonna have a speaker from Ireland. We also have Philippines, Turkey, and Hungary discussions. And yeah, thank you so much for your attention. Once again, and thanks to our wonderful keynote speakers and also our speakers for the opening ceremony. Thank you very much, and see you once again back at 1 p.m. sharp. Thank you.